New England just got called out from the Rockies, and how the Patriots respond could decide Sunday. But that's only the first spark. There's a young receiver who went from nice depth piece to a real big play problem. There's a running back a lot of people were ready to write off, who's now putting together a redemption arc with the ball glued to his hands. And there's a rookie on the offensive line staring down the harshest test of his life, with the Super Bowl basically around the corner. Who do you trust when the pressure hits and the margins get razor thin? You ever notice how some coaches talk to the crowd like they're trying to win the game before the kickoff? That's exactly what Sean Payton did in Denver. He called for noise, called for chaos, told Broncos fans to turn Mile High into a nightmare for the Patriots offense. And then he dropped that line about 2 weeks of rest after the game. Translation? He's selling his fans the idea that Denver's already punching the ticket to the Super Bowl. That's where it gets fun. Because on the other side, you've got a Patriots team that feeds on that kind of disrespect. And the guy who stepped up and put his name on it was Boutte. Not a veteran with a polished PR answer. A 23-year-old who's peaking at the perfect time, basically saying, "Yeah, you'll get your rest, just not while you're packing for Santa Clara." That's Patriots energy. That's locker room edge. And that kind of moment changes the feel of an entire week. A quote like that sounds small until you remember what playoff football really is. You're battling for narrative as much as you're battling for yardage. If Payton plants "we've got this" in the stands, he also loads pressure onto his own team. The first mistake turns into panic. The first 3 and out turns into silence. The best way to flip a stadium is to start fast. One steady drive, one third down conversion, one chunk play. Suddenly, that noise turns into nerves. Don't miss this angle either. When a coach talks like that, he's daring you to respond. Vrabel isn't the type to bite publicly. He downplays it, says his team already has plenty of reasons to win. But he's absolutely filing it away. Patriot Way isn't about yelling. It's about remembering. Boutte isn't talking just to talk. He's been clutch. He's leading the team in postseason receiving yards. He knows Denver wants to rattle you with altitude, sound, and pass rush. When a young player is willing to stand in front of it, that confidence spreads. Be honest. Would you rather see a Patriots team playing polite in January or a Patriots team playing angry? If that was the headline, fine. But the real twist is what Boutte has become inside this offense. Coming into the season, almost nobody circled Kayshawn as the clear number 2 threat. The attention was on Stefon Diggs, on the new offense, on what Josh McDaniels might unlock. Quietly, though, the story flipped. Boutte didn't become a difference maker overnight. He became one because the game demanded it. 5-star recruit, Louisiana kid, LSU highs and lows. 6th-round pick. A rookie year where he basically disappeared. 2 catches. 2. In a lot of places, that's a bust label waiting to happen. In New England, it can be raw material. The leap wasn't just stat sheet fluff. It was role. He went from needing volume to becoming a vertical weapon. Fewer targets, bigger impact. Yards per catch climbing. Touchdowns doubled. Defenses forced to respect the deep ball. That one-handed touchdown against Houston, that wasn't just a highlight. That was a message. The kind of play that changes how the next defense lines up. And against Denver, the matchup is sitting there like a neon sign. Everybody expects Pat Surtain II to travel with Diggs. That's not hot take territory. That's defensive logic. So if Diggs is getting the premier coverage, somebody has to punish the other side. That somebody is Boutte. Across from him is Riley Moss, physical but undisciplined. 12 penalties this season, 7 touchdowns allowed, 9 games giving up 60-plus yards in coverage. That's not maybe, that's a door left open. And Drake Maye isn't the kind of quarterback who ignores an open door in a game like this. If Moss bites on a double move, if he's a tick late on the boundary, the ball's going up. This is where it turns into a chain reaction. If Boutte wins, Denver can't keep helping. If they can't keep helping, the whole offense breathes. The run game gets lighter boxes. Play action becomes a problem. 3rd and long doesn't feel like a death sentence. Think about that for a second. One matchup can change the entire math of a game plan. So when people say this could be a Patriots Super Bowl run, it's not wild to say it might run through the hands of a 23-year-old who was almost an afterthought. And if that feels like too much pressure, keep that same energy, because the redemption stories don't stop in the passing game. While everyone's talking routes and coverage and where Maye's eyes are going, there's something happening in the backfield that's even more unlikely. If you told most Patriots fans months ago that Ramondre Stevenson would be a key piece in an AFC championship run, a lot of people would laugh. Not because he isn't talented, but because trust got shaky. 7 fumbles in 2024, 2 early this season, 1 against Pittsburgh that helped turn what should have been a clean win into a brutal loss. Another at Buffalo that nearly burned them again. At that point, the conversation was basically, how long before he's traded? How long before he's gone? Then football did what football does. It flipped the whole board. Antonio Gibson goes down with a season-ending injury, and suddenly, Vrabel doesn't have the luxury of easing anyone along. He had to lean on Stevenson. More touches, more responsibility, less margin for error. And what happened? The fumbling stopped. Flat out stopped. Since week 5, the ball has stayed locked in. The production started telling the truth. Solid rushing yardage, a strong yards per carry clip, real impact as a receiver, first downs when drives were hanging by a thread. He's not the flashiest back in the league. He's the guy you trust when the game gets ugly. And playoff football is ugly. Tight windows, no free yards, every inch bought, not given. In the playoffs, he hasn't needed a touchdown to matter. He's mattered where it counts, sustaining drives, converting tough downs, giving Drake Maye a pressure valve when the line breaks down. And yeah, we've got to say it, the line has been inconsistent. A lot of what the run game has produced has been effort, not clean lanes. Here's a quick reality check. Stevenson didn't just survive. He repositioned himself. He went from the guy who might cost you to the guy who steadies you. Paired with Travion Henderson's explosiveness, that backfield starts to look balanced in a way defenses hate in January. But if you think the tension is done, it's not. Because all of this, Peyton's mouth, Boutte's matchup, the backfield stability, none of it matters if your quarterback can't stand tall. And that brings us to the name nobody wanted in the spotlight this week, Will Campbell. This is the cruel side of the NFL. In January, there's no potential. There's no, he'll be fine next year. There's only the next snap. And against Houston, reality hit hard. 2 sacks allowed, 4 pressures, and a pass protection grade that's painful to look at. Worse than that, those strip sacks on Drake Maye came off that left side. You can't pretend you didn't see it. But give Campbell this. He didn't hide. He didn't point fingers. He didn't act like it was no big deal. He admitted it. He's got things to clean up, and he holds himself to a higher standard than what he put on tape. That matters. Accountability is step 1. Now comes the part that's scary. Denver's front isn't exactly a friendly reset. Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper don't need a second invitation. If your footwork is late, if your hands miss, if you open the gate even a little, they're in the backfield. And in an AFC championship game, one bad sack can flip the entire script. This is why the debate is heating back up. Is Campbell truly a left tackle long-term, or is he a guard playing out of position? That's usually a March conversation, not a week before you're trying to win the conference. But the league doesn't wait. Let me say this clearly. The Patriots don't need Campbell to become an all-pro in 7 days. They need him to be functional, win enough reps, slow the rush just long enough, give Maye one more beat, let the play action develop, keep 3rd and long from turning into immediate panic. And the mental side? It's massive. Mile high. Noise. Altitude. The pressure of knowing the cameras are tracking every set. One early mistake can snowball, or it can sharpen you. This game could shape how people talk about Will Campbell for years. Overmatched rookie, or rookie who got punched, learned, and answered when it mattered. So yeah, everything connects. The outside talk became inside fuel. A young receiver stopped being a nice story and became a real weapon. A back once doubted is now dependable when it's trench warfare. And a rookie lineman is carrying the weight of protecting the future of the franchise for 60 minutes. That's January football. That's the Patriots. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of these storylines decides it in Denver? Drop your take in the comments, argue it out with Patriots Nation, hit the like button, and subscribe if you're riding with this run. Because Sunday isn't just a game, it's a test of who this team really is.